Notts County Talk, we are live. Well, I say we are live. For the first time in 183 episodes of the Pavis Perspective, I am live for a solo Pavis Perspective tonight. I say solo. I've got Helen joining me, who is a Grimsby fan, very shortly, which means we still only have missed out on Oldham fans to join us on this season's podcast, which is disappointing, but I'm pretty sure we'll get Oldham fans to join us on the return fixture. As always, we are powered by Better Bytes Computers. Use that code Pavis Perspective for discounts on computer repairs or refurbished computers. Kev, who is a Notts fan that runs Better Bytes, fantastic guy, and would absolutely love your support. And we'd love you to support him because we couldn't do the show without him. Again, as always, if you're listening back on Spotify, please leave us that 5-star review. We are pushing for 100 5-star reviews on Spotify. We're not that far away from there. So let's see who we've got with us this evening. We've got Royston, as usual, Richard, Nigel, David, Stuart, all getting their questions in by 7. So nice 10 minutes early. We've got Stuart Gaza, who says, Tuesday reminded me of the magnitude of the Wrexham 1-0 home win in the promotion season. If that's the highest funded team in the league, then we've cracked the code. I certainly echo quite a lot of those thoughts, Gaz. We've got Sally, we've got Ellie joining us, who's with us regularly. So plenty of you joining us. So much to talk about on tonight's show. We've got the poll question, which is always a controversial one. We bring it out at Christmas. Does a Yorkshire pudding go on a Christmas dinner? I've got my vote and I'll reveal mine at the end of the show. I'll try and remember to ask Helen her vote, but it's a very controversial topic. And something that we've been doing in the past few weeks is the EFL sticker album has come out. Now, as a lot of you have been asking for, we do have Notts County Talk mugs currently being made, and they'll be ready by Wednesday. We have a few left over from last year, but we have a few new mugs that are being made and will be available on Wednesday. I will open a pack of the EFL stickers on the stream tonight. If we pull a Notts player or the Notts badge out, we will do a giveaway. But for the first time this season, as I'm on my own, I'm feeling quite festive. We're going to do 2-pack openings. Are we going to get a Notts player? Are we going to get 2 Notts players? I've not really prepared what happens if we get a pack of 5 Notts players, which would be unbelievable. But if that does happen, I don't know. We'll probably go off air and I just run around panicking. But we'll get to that when we get to it. So if you have a question for me on the show tonight, I've got plenty of time to answer it. If you have a question for Helen, I know there'll be the regular questions for our opposition guest. Please do get them in. But let's talk Grimsby before I dive into a very, very positive result against MK. Helen, how are we?
I'm good, thanks. I should say, I think if you get a Grimsby player when you open those packs, I think you should still do the giveaway.
Do you? Is that... well, we'll see. It depends how many Grimsby players. If we get a Notts and a Grimsby player, I don't know. I don't know the rules. I just but yeah, thank you for joining us on a Thursday, getting close to Christmas. So obviously people are busy, but really appreciate it representing Grimsby. As you will have heard, the only team we haven't had on is Oldham. Nothing against them, but we were going for the full house this season, but unfortunately not. So tell me about your season so far then. We've played quite a few games, so you should be getting a good idea of how you're going to perform.
Well, I suppose you could say the mood at the moment in the Grimsby camp is probably one of frustration. So we started off the season pretty well, had quite a good August into September. Fans are probably aware of the result we got against Man United in the Cup, which was a big, boost for everybody. But since then, we've kind of been on a bit of a downward trend, I suppose you could call it. Our results have tailed off. We haven't, I don't think, won in the league since the end of October. So we've kind of fallen down the league a little bit in recent weeks. I think the narrative behind the stats tells a bit more of a story in that we are playing quite well. We're just not getting results. So we, for example, in 4 out of our last 5 league games, I think it is, just looking at the stats, we've actually only conceded, I think it's 6 shots on target, but actually let 6 goals in and only picked up a couple of points. So, and had way more shots on target ourselves. So we're not scoring goals and we're only losing games by really small margin or drawing games by small margins. So the results are not really reflecting on the performances, hence the frustration. So we're in a bit of a weird space at the moment, I would say. And yeah, frustrating because we can put in some good performances, but not getting the points to show that.
Yeah, when we got promoted back from the National League, we had Luke Williams as manager, and we started off really well. We were either top or like top 3 for quite a while at the start of the season. And you obviously started the season well. But when we had Luke Williams in charge, we were winning games and we had to win them like 3-2, 4-3. I mean, we lost some in there 5-4. And you knew it was going to sort of unravel pretty quickly. Well, I got a sense that things were going to unravel quickly. You know, when you started the season well, were there convincing wins or were there signs that something could go a bit wrong?
I don't think there were signs at all. And I think to give a bit more perspective, so we've had David Artell in for a couple of years now, and the performances at the start of the season were really positive and a much more improved on last season. So he really has brought the team and the squad and the performances to a much better level than what we've been used to in previous seasons. So maybe it is just our expectations shifted. I wouldn't say there's anything particular that sort of predicted that this might happen, because everything seemed to be going really well. So it's an interesting one that it has just seemed to have. Maybe we should just call it we're in a bit of a plateau, and we need to see that kick on. You know, David Artell always said when he came in, you know, all I want is improvement, all I want is success, but that none of that is linear, and we're on a bit of a shelf at the moment, and it just needs that extra thing to click it all into place, and I'm sure the points will start coming in. So it's just that patience that is needed, I think, by everybody, and it will fall into place, but it's just when. And it's not as easy, is it, to demonstrate that patience when you've not seen results for a few weeks, or, you know, not got the points on the board that we actually thought we might get a few weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I look at your games. I mean, Colchester, you know, you lost at home. We lost at home to Colchester, a good side. One of your losses was Crewe away. We lost away to Crewe. It's a very difficult place to go. You drew at Barrow. We lost at Barrow. I mean, Barrow is never an easy place for anyone to go. Swindon away, you drew 2-2. We drew 2-2.
Yeah.
So a lot of your teams in there, bar maybe Tranmere at home. I mean, Chesterfield at home, you lost, but they're not an easy side. There's good teams in there.
Yeah, and like Tranmere at home the other week. So, like I said, they had 2 shots on target, got 2 goals. We had 6 shots on target, lost the game. Chesterfield, they had 1 shot on target. We had 4. They scored 1. I think it was an own goal that they needed to win that game. So what you look at, there's a whole lot of narrative below that, and it just shows sort of a bit of, I suppose you could call it unlucky, but I suppose at the end of the day, it's the results game, isn't it? And you don't score the goals, you don't get the points. So it's trying to balance that out. But I'm still quietly confident in how the season will go. It's just that nervousness about when will it start? When will we start to see that positive trajectory again? And obviously, the game on Saturday is probably not one you'd want when you're looking for looking for 3 points, really.
Well, I people that watch this show a lot know I absolutely hate when we play a side that haven't won for a while, because they're bound to win at some point. We had Kaz on, a Bristol Rovers fan, a few weeks ago, and they'd lost 7 in a row. And I thought, there's no way we go and win that game. They're not going to lose 8 in a row. We did win the game, and now they've gone on to lose 9 in a row. Interesting thing there is they got Darryl Clark as manager, and up to 2 weeks ago, they lost 7 games in a row. And I asked about, you know, are the fans completely behind their manager? Because as you say, in football, patience is hard to come by. And I know at the start of the season, we went quite a few games without a win, and fans were very unhappy with Martin Patson, our manager. I assume everyone's still fully behind.
I mean, obviously, the game the other night against Shrewsbury wasn't the best result. We didn't lose. You know, we got a point. And there are some people starting to be a little bit like, well, what's going on? But generally, David Artell has done so much for the club in the past couple of years and brought us on to that next level, so to speak. I mean, I'm not going to lie and say, look, if it continues over the Christmas period, that questions aren't going to be asked. But I think he's got enough in the bank to see it through. And like I said, performances generally have been pretty good. We can give his quote, and I think he actually quoted it today again, is that if we turn up, we can give anyone a game on the day. So it just depends who we're playing, and all the factors around that. But yeah, I think he's still good for a little bit, and he is improving players, and that's what you want to see. So
going back a little bit, what were your pre-season expectations?
Well, I think because we almost got in the playoffs last season, there was a sort of an expectation that we need to match or better that. So I think a lot of expectations is that we need to see playoffs this season to call it a success. And I think that's still the case. I think, to be honest, when we started off the season quite well, there was a bit of excitement thinking, oh, maybe we'll actually get automatics. I think a realistic outcome for this season is probably playoffs, and anything better is obviously a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, at the start of the season, you watch loads of prediction videos and they mean absolutely nothing. A couple of years ago, I predicted Crawley to finish bottom with one of the lowest points tallies. They got promoted. So, but no, a lot of people, and I included, I thought Grimsby would have a good season this season. Our games are crazy when we play each other. We had the 2-0 last season when David McGoldrick came back from injury, which was fantastic for us. And we had, we lost our goalkeeper in that game. We've had the 5-5, which was, I mean, watching that was pulling my hair out. We've had playoff games where we were winning with minutes to go, and you get a late goal in normal time to level it, and a late goal in extra time. They're so good, aren't they, the games between us?
Yeah, and part of me actually wants that to happen again. We like a good game, but sometimes you kind of like, just why can't it just be 0-0 or something, just to, for the old blood pressure. But I think it is always a good game. I think there's always a good sort of atmosphere in the ground as well, because whether it's at your place or ours, we always bring good following, so that brings the atmosphere as well, and in turn I think feeds the players. So hopefully same again on Saturday. I'm guessing that you're going to bring a full house, and sell out your allocation. So hopefully a good atmosphere at Blundell Park, and we'll hopefully that means an entertaining game, but we'll see.
Yeah, we sold out. I'm just reading the comments here. Someone said I think they're talking about tickets. We sold out a week ago. I think someone said, asking if we were going to be selling any tickets or anyone's got any tickets. Someone said 2 have gone back to the ground because they can't make it. So if you're a Notts fan in this chat and you want a ticket, I know they're very difficult to get, as they would be for this fixture. Yeah, try the ground because Jane has sent some back. I'm going to ask a question. We have a channel regular that's always in, but he's not in tonight's show, and he always asks the guest, what's your favourite and least favourite away ground to visit in League Two?
In League Two, that's good. Least favourite. Sorry if there's anyone from Barrow on this tonight.
Every week they say that.
Partly because it's just so far. It's just, you could fly to Spain quicker than you can get to Barrow. Let's face it. Favourite is different. I like ones where there is going to be a good atmosphere, a good turnout. So I do like going to Notts County. That's a good one. I used to like Doncaster for the same reason. Obviously, they've gone up now. But I mean, it really depends what lens you're looking through, to be honest. I've got a bit of a soft spot for Accrington. I like the old ground, and they've got a good fan bar. But again, it depends on whether you're talking about a day out drinking or just what the match is going to be like and who the team is that you're playing, really. Yeah. So it's a really long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, but Barrow is, I don't know, 90% of opposition fans have said that. We've got a question here for you saying, can I ask what was your best ever Grimsby match?
Well, I probably have put the Man United one in there this season because it was, I still can't believe it, to be honest. It's probably the best ever game at home. Other ones that stand out are probably when we won the playoffs a few years ago, and when we had Southampton in the FA Cup, again, a couple of years ago, down at Southampton, because it was a weekday. We managed to send absolutely thousands of fans on a Wednesday night, and we won. So off the top of my head, those two.
Did you go to the Wrexham playoff game at their ground?
I didn't go, no, because I watched it, but I didn't go because I couldn't go to the Notts County game prior to that because I was on holiday, so I couldn't get the ticket, and so watched it at home, as nervous as everybody else.
Crazy game. Two more football related questions then. One is, what player might we not be aware of that can be quite dangerous for you, or we should keep an eye out for on Saturday?
Ones that you're not aware of, so I'll chuck a couple into the mix because they're relatively new to our squad. So you might have heard of them, but you don't think you'll have played a match against them. So ones you should keep an eye out for. One's Jace Cabia, who's our striker that we signed in the summer. We got him from Truro, so he's come up. He's still learning. I suppose you could say he's still learning the life of the Football League, but has scored a few goals this season. He's a fast front man, foul. So sometimes it goes for him, sometimes it doesn't, and he'll get picked up for it instead. But he had a good start to the season. He had a bit of a drought again in this past month, but scored a couple in the FA Cup next weekend. So if he starts, keep an eye out for him. The other one I'm going to say is Darragh Burns. Again, we signed him in January, I think it was, from a League of Ireland team, and has really grown into the team. He plays on the right wing, but he's left-footed, and has really started to create a lot of chances for us at a time when no one has really stood out performance-wise. He really seems to have grown into the team and is really coming into his own. So I would say him as well. Someone else you probably are aware of, Charles Vernham on the left. But I won't go into him because you're probably aware of him. So yeah, Jace Cabia, Darragh Burns, probably the two that I'd pick out for you.
Well, keep an eye. I mean, hopefully they don't have good games against us, but it's always nice to know who to keep an eye out for. I mean, obviously the Notts sort of management will know that. They'll be looking, but as a fan, it's just nice to know who to look out for. Two more questions, one football related, one Christmas dinner related. What's your score prediction for Saturday?
Oh, I would love to say that the optimist in me said we're going to find a win and we'll win 2-1. I think both teams will score. That's my probably nailed on one. Yeah. The optimist in me, 2-1. I'd take a draw, probably, but we shouldn't say that.
I hate playing sides that I haven't won in a while. I'll get my prediction at the end. I'm still thinking of it. Very, very quickly, because another question's coming out, and I don't want to keep you too long, Helen. Someone's asked what you thought of Jaden Luca, because we had him at the start of the season. He was unreal, and he picked up an injury and he's gone back to Luton for a while. Very
similar story, actually. So we had him. He got injured, showed some real promise, got injured, had to go back to Luton for rehab. We did get him back again, and he actually had a really good game when we played Walsall, I think it was, and we absolutely played him off the park. He stood out that day, showed real promise, and it was such a shame that he just seemed to be plagued by injuries, and it sounds like it's a similar picture with you guys. I just hope he doesn't turn into one of those players where he's just plagued by injuries for his career, because he did. I mean, he showed some really good stuff when he was with us, but just couldn't do it consistently. And I get the sense that that's a similar story when he came to you.
Yeah, I mean, he came on in the last 20 minutes of the game for us early in the season and got 3 assists in 20 minutes. Like, great player, but yeah, I hope the same. Before I let you go, then. 89 votes, 63% of people say they will be putting Yorkshire pudding on their Christmas dinner. Are you in the yes or no camp?
I probably shouldn't say that because I live in Yorkshire, but no, probably not. I've now got Yorkshire coming after me with pitchforks and torches.
There you have it. A no. It's a no. Helen says no.
Probably not. Yeah, I'm cooking and it's just a faff, isn't it? So
a lot of people have already put their comments in to basically say, of course they're going. Someone's put the dinner has gravy, so a Yorkshire pudding is required, says Melanie. But there we go.
Either way, if it's there, I'll eat it. But if I'm cooking it, no.
Christian said Helen was doing well up until then. Appreciate you. Enjoy the game on Saturday. Thanks for giving up your Thursday chat to us.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Callum says, no Yorkshire, no party. That should be we should get that chant on at the game. We've already got a lot of things done on this channel, haven't we? We've managed to get people to bring thermometers into the ground to test the Pavis toilet taps, which was great. We've had a 20-minute debate on beans, and now no Yorkshire, no party. That could be the new one. I'll give my say at the end. 92 votes now. 64% of people say yes, Yorkshire on a Christmas dinner, and 36 say no. So obviously, I'm on the show on my own this evening. It was great to have Helen on. Someone said in the chat, another great guest. We've had some superb guests this season. We've had the Wirral dog involved as well, which was great. And I'm not bitter about it, but no Oldham fan. So if you've got any questions for me, I'll try and answer a few. Simon's asked saying, what's people's 3 or 4 away day favourite away day wins by knots? He says mine was 5-1 at Fulham, 2-0 at Chelsea, 4-1 at Palace, and 1-0 at Brentford in the Cup. The last one happened this century. I'll have a think about that. My favourite away wins. I'm going to put Tranmere up there straight away. Not Tranmere, sorry, because I was thinking about another Tranmere game. Bristol Rovers. I'm going to put that up there with the Dennis goal. Yeah, just we've got a missing person actually. Casey just said, has anyone seen Daniel Crowley? I don't think I've heard of him. Not sure I've heard of him, Casey, but if I do hear of him or see him anywhere, I'll let you know. That might be the person that people keep saying just keeps going around in circles, but that's probably why he's not got home yet. But there we go. Let's talk about that game then. Let's talk about MK Dons. Let's talk about Dan Crowley, the performance, the goal, what it means in context of this season, what it means in the context of this month. The game was crazy. You know, right at the start, you hear Patterson saying his post match he wanted to kill the players, backtracks and say not actually kill the players, but he was fuming with the goal, and I was disappointed with how it went in. You give, Patterson said, probably the quickest player in the whole league, Mendes Lang, and I would agree. I've not seen a player quicker than him. To me, when he got the ball or when he was after the ball, he was quicker than Aaron Aman. He was quicker than Keenan Bennett. He was absolutely rapid. He's never going to miss in that situation. Look, I'm not saying it's because who we've got in goal. I think most goalkeepers in the league don't save that effort. He's a championship quality player playing in this division. I believe he got bought off, was it for Aaron Collins? Up until that point, I can't believe they bought him off, to be honest. He was a menace. Will, who we have on the channel all the time, said to me, where's he actually playing? He just seemed to have a license to roam. And when players are that good and they have a license to roam, they're dangerous. Look at David McGoldrick, you know, when he wasn't told, I think he said by Luke Williams to not shoot from outside the box, when he was given that license to roam by Maynard, and how many points did he win as under Maynard? He's fantastic. So Mendes Lang was great. And then we equalised with that superb Dennis goal, which, you know, he's the second or third top scorer in the league behind Drinan from Swindon and Michael Cheek from Bromley. And you give him, you know, the freedom of you give him so much room to take a shot. And I know he's not known for these goals from far out. Yes, he scored against Bristol Rovers with the goal from quite far out, but it was deflected. He's known for sort of clever finishes and, you know, following in and things like that. You give him so much room. It's a superb goal. And I thought, there's the opportunity now for Notts to settle the game down, not the start they wanted, and they get a penalty. And at the time, I thought it's a clear foul on Jatta. And let me know what you think. I thought in the moment it's a clear foul on Jatta, but I thought it was a definite penalty because I thought it was a very high boot. I've watched it back 2 or 3 times, and I'm not sure how much of a foul it actually is on Jatta, but I don't think it's a penalty now watching it at all. 2 players go to kick the ball. It's between sort of waist and chest height. The guy leans into it from MK. 2 players just go to kick the ball. It's at a normal height. It's not overly high. And he gives a penalty. Mendes Lang, good penalty. Again, he chipped it. I don't even know if it went down the middle. It sort of went to Roosters' right. And you're back to square one. And what I will say about MK is if they want to get promoted, and I think they'll do this, is in January, they are going to have to tear apart that defence. I know they had a player that was suspended following something that happened in the FA Cup, but Lawrence Maguire and whoever it was partner him at centre back, were horrendous, absolutely horrendous. They gifted us that goal. I don't know what happens if they don't gift that goal, because they were causing us a lot of issues in that first half. But it's I don't even know. Is it headed back by Maguire? And Jota does really well. In the past, Jota doesn't score that, and he looks kind of clumsy when he's coming onto the ball. But what he does do is he keeps it under just enough control to put it in the back of the net. And for me, it's a fantastic finish. And within 26 minutes, I know there's not many options because Tyrese Hall is suspended, but there were options in Kuyar and Jody Jones, who was coming back. But in 26 minutes, you've justified starting the two strikers up front together, which was a question we've asked on this channel so many times. Can they work together? And the answer, yes, they both scored in the first 26 minutes. So that was really good. And then the winner. How many times have I finished a vlog and said, do not ever score a winner at Meadow Lane? We don't ever score late winners at Meadow Lane. We've started to do it away from home. When I ask people, I say in the comments, when's the last league winner we scored at Meadow Lane? And people always put Boreham Wood. But for me, that's not a league winner. That's a playoff winner. Actually, in the league, the last late goal we won a game with, I know Jody scored a penalty against Fleetwood, but to actually score a winner in the league against a side that have spent loads of money. Someone alluded to it. They're like the Wrexham of the National League. They've got incredible players. But to do it in that game, when you've got Dan Crowley on the other team, that adds a bit of spice to it, and a manager that everyone, is a great manager we want to be, to do it in the 87th minute or 88th minute, and a player that I thought I'm going to get onto in a second was incredible in that game, was absolutely amazing. We've got a new channel member there, so massively appreciate that. Thank you so much for signing up to be a channel member for the channel. Helps us out massively. Helps us with producing all of the content. So big thank you for that. Casey says, I was buzzing for Eel Pender. He was outstanding. I think he's been good all season. We lack so much physicality when he's not on the pitch. He's only going to get better for us too as the season goes on. I agree. I'm going to work forward, kind of. Steve says, where's George? Is he in Siberia? I don't know. We'll put out a missing thing for George as well as Dan Crowley, I think. But I'm not sure. No, he can't make tonight's show, but he should be back next week. Coming from the back, Kel Roos. I've given him stick on the channel, and I try not to go over the top with it because I think he does need a bit of a break. Against Bristol Rovers, he got his points in that game, didn't he? The saves he made, yes, he made a bit of an error early on, but the saves he made were fantastic. They were fantastic in that Bristol game. And he makes one midway through the second half where I think the ball just hits him, but he spreads himself. He makes his body big to actually save it. And it's so powerfully hit that he doesn't push it away or anything. It bounces off him and flies out to the edge of the box, a bit further out. It's a great save. And you think to yourself in that moment, is that going to win us points? Now look at a goalkeeper that's been shaky in the past and there's no getting past that. But in the last two games, he has won us points. Yes, he wasn't fantastic for their penalty. He comes out, he flaps a little bit. We know he's not always great at coming to claim crosses. He does flap for that a bit. But it's not a penalty in my opinion. I've just said that. And Ewan here says he's a good shot stopper. He is a good shot stopper. And that save's great. And full credit to him. We in that game and in those games, you need those things to happen. You need your keeper to pull off, one, maybe two in the case of the Bristol Rovers games. Fantastic saves. When you're up against the side that, let's be honest as well, they could have scored more. But so could we. Eel Pender in the first half missed a massive opportunity. So Roos, I want to give him a bit of credit. The defence, Macquarie had a decent game. Platt makes a mistake, in that second half, could have cost a goal, but I can't remember what someone said. Someone said online that he turned into Ben Turner for this game. The amount of headers he won, the amount of battles that he won. They've got Patterson up front. Again, at least a League One standard player, really physical. You talk about players that are streetwise and, are fantastic with their gamesmanship and things. That's one he's playing up against. He's come back in the team. Yes, he's not perfect, but he's been out for a while. And putting that centre defence, again, like Roos, fantastic against Bristol, fantastic in this game. Bedu, I was looking around who's the captain? And I know he was against Bristol, but it slipped my mind. Let me know what you think of Bedu as captain. it kind of does seem an obvious choice when you think about it. But I think it's a smart move. I think it is a smart move to have him as captain. I think he's a good captain. I think he always gives 100%, whether it's a fantastic performance or an average one. I don't ever see a bad performance from him. I think that's a really good move to put him in. So as captain, he was fantastic. You then look at your wing backs. Keenan Bennett's grew into the game. Patterson said that, and Cerullo was just Cerullo. He just does well, doesn't he? I think he could possibly have created an opportunity with a 1-2 with Jata that gives a red card to an MK player. I don't know if it was in the box, but I thought with the ref and how poor he was, he might have used that opportunity to even things up. And he definitely didn't want to even things up after the man second yellow tackle, did he? That was I've never seen anything. That's almost as bad as seeing Kellen Gordon booked for clearing the ball out of the ground when it was still in play. So Ewan says, do I not think Cerullo's had a poor run of games? I would say by his standards, he's not been that great. I don't think he's been poor to the point where I've looked at him every game and thought, there's an issue here. I don't think he's been an issue. I just think he's not at the standard he was earlier in the season, which is fine. But yeah, by his standards, he's not been incredible, but he's not been detrimental to the side, in my opinion. Hasn't created as much going forward, is what I would say. So the wing backs were good. Central midfielders worried me quite a lot. Seeing them on the team sheet, Pender, still relatively inexperienced, although he doesn't play like it. And you've seen what Casey's just said there in the chat. He's been brilliant. But Norburn played, 20, maybe 25 minutes against Bristol Rovers, was good in that game. And I thought you've got a midfield two here of a still young player and a very experienced player with very little game time. And I thought they were great. I've read a stat that one of them completed 9 passes. I assume that's Norburn. But what Norburn did do is he won a lot of tackles. He won a lot of fouls for us that I don't think we're that good at doing. And maybe, and I'm not downing him, but maybe a player like Matty Palmer doesn't win. I'm not saying that Norburn's a better player in this game than Matty Palmer. Palmer would have undoubtedly been fantastic to have in. But he did smart things, really, really smart things. And as a pair, they did exactly what they needed to do. And what I liked about Patterson's interview, he said, people were asking me, no Robbo. I was very worried about Robbo, and no Palmer. And he told everyone, Norburn's in. Deal with it, basically. His Pender completed 9, Norburn completed 27. Thank you, Charlie. That's a stat that surprised me, actually. Pender was too busy battling everyone and winning the ball back to put passes in then. Chris says, amazing Norburn got through 90 without a booking, especially with that ref. Let's celebrate that. I tell you what, if Dan Crowley started, I don't think he would have gone the game without that. But again, a player that's booked every time he plays and comes in and does the smart thing. Paul says he calmed things down. Can you imagine saying that there's before the game that there's going to be no Robertson, but Norburn's going to come in and calm things down? That's what you get. That's with experience. People say, "Oh, he's not great. He's not great." I don't think he's been fantastic up until what I saw in that Bristol game, and I still don't think he's been fantastic. But he's definitely he played really, really well, and he did exactly what was needed. That stat is still 36 passes completed between two midfielders. Palmer probably completes more than 36 on his own every single game. So we had to adapt how we played, and we did really, really well. We adapted how we played well. One player I think did kind of struggle, wasn't bad, was Connor Grant. Dennis is not played as a striker, but he's not played in the same position as Hall. So he's kind of in between that, which left Grant for me a little bit exposed. He had a lot of ground to cover left and right. I don't think he was great. I don't think he was bad. But the fact I think he was our first player bought off, for me, was the right decision. So he wasn't fantastic, but I'm not getting down on him. Ewan says, don't slander Connor Grant. I just think it wasn't his best game. I mean, in the past, I think he's done some really good things. And then, I've already mentioned it, but Dennis and Jata together worked. Here's my question that I want you to answer. Is it sustainable? I'm not sure we can go into every single game when we've got Jody back fully fit, Robbo back fit, Hall back from suspension, Palmer back fit, to play them up front. Because what it didn't do is it didn't really leave us an option off the bench. The option is Traore. basically, and he's not going to come on. I think he's on the bench because then the illness around the camp probably means that Jarvis is ill. The other attacking options are Jody, who's never coming on up front, and Kuyar, who I don't see ever coming on up front. Maybe might have an opportunity. But it worked. It justified after 26 minutes. It was. So my last thing I want to say is great interview from Patterson after the game. Funny interview from Warren. I actually thought he was all right. I thought Warren gave us credit, and I thought he spoke almost exactly how the game was. They could have had a lot of goals. They could have had a lot of goals. They didn't connect with crosses, with their head, with their feet, and Roos makes a great save. So could we. But the interviewer is clearly a bit upset and a bit bitter and says they couldn't live with us. I think we could live with you because we scored 3 and could have scored 4, maybe 5. Yes, we could have conceded, but a team that could score 5 in a game against a side that spent that much money, I would say, of course, we can live with you. Polycarp, who's the new channel member, says, Tommy Openda is the first box-to-box player County have had since Crowley. We need to play him and Robbo in the centre. Yeah, but I don't know if you can leave out Palmer. I think it sounds like Robbo has, I think it's a soft tissue injury, which could be a while. But I think that midfield will be good. What I like is we've now seen that Openda and Norburn can work together. We know Openda and Palmer can. We know Palmer and Robbo can. I assume Robbo and others would work together. So we've got options there. Joseph says Traore to be given more opportunities, doesn't have 2 years left in his contract. Yes, our opportunities have gone though in cup competitions, haven't they? Which is a bit disappointing. I do think we'll absolutely hammer a team at some point this season, whether it's an expected one, like a Newport kind of thing, or I don't know. And he can come on late on, maybe nick a goal or something. I'd hate to think he ends the season without a goal, but he's not getting the opportunities right now, is he? But if we go 2 up front, he's going to have an opportunity at some point. Right then, that's the MK game sorted. Let's do our pack opening. So if I draw a Notts player, we'll do a mug giveaway in this video. Helen suggested if I draw a Grimsby player, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to draw a Grimsby player and do a giveaway because it's a Notts County channel, but I like the suggestion. So here we go. Are we doing a giveaway for the mug? The first is, it's a Hull City player, not a Notts player. I've been unlucky. This is pack number 3 of the series. We have 2 Wigan players, Joseph Humbo and Dara Costello. No Notts player. Come on. We have the Middlesbrough kits. I don't know if Notts kits are an option, the badges. We've got some Crew and Barrow players. And we've got some Fleetwood and Swindon players. So we've got League 2 players, but no Notts County players in there. There's got to be. Let's do the second pack. Let's get it done. Can we have a Notts player in this? Imagine pulling a Nick Cerula out live on the Pavis Perspective. Let's see. Come on. The noise of opening the packs. We've got half of a Doncaster player, which looks like a picture. Don't know what that is. We've got more League 2 players, Crawley and Cambridge, but no Notts County player. We've got some Bolton Wanderers players. We've got a Derby County player. And we have, does this count? We've got Barnsley players and we've got David McGoldrick. Does that count? I can't count it. We've got David McGoldrick. Someone said, I'm trying to buy more of these stickers. They're like gold dust. Got 1 Swapsy. If you've got a Notts player, you could swap with me. But David McGoldrick, does that count? Nah, David McGoldrick doesn't count. It doesn't count. We should have said ex-Notts players from the last few seasons count, but no, I can't count. So we go on to next week. I might even up it and open 3 packs next week. But unfortunately, no Notts player again. That's 4 packs opened on the channel. Disappointing. A few people talking about Hinchy then. And Chris, it actually is. Is opening these stickers how MK Dons set out their transfer strategy? It is. If there's a shiny player in the pack, they bid well over the odds for them. That's basically what it is, I think. Thoughts on Hinchy being recalled, not registered in the squad? I don't know when you can re-register. Is it after January? I don't know. Can you register like an emergency? Does that mean Robbo is out for a while? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that does mean. Whether it's just to play him, I don't know. But I don't think he's had many minutes where he's been out on loan in the National League. But I do think it'd be odd not saying, like making a deal of bringing him back. I know it's only a tweet, but surely they just bring him and send him somewhere else. Charlie says might even be numbers in training. It is. If Patterson's got to join him with training, that's an issue, isn't it? It is a little bit of an issue. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, by the way. Lots of you, 141 people, 140 people currently watching. Lots of you getting your thoughts and questions in the chat. So someone says Hinchy return Jan 26. Chris says, imagine Hinchy's not had as much game time. We're getting him fit for January if needed. Guys say burn the Dan Crowley sticker when I get it. I have to do a health and safety check on the channel. I'm not sure my wife would like me setting fire to things during a video. Joseph says, because he Hinchy working in Patterson midfield. I don't dislike Hinchy at all. And I think Patterson does what Maynard didn't do and makes players better. So I'm all for keeping tabs on Hinchy and seeing what he can do. I mean, look at what he's done with a young player in Eo Pender. Look at what he's done with Hall, who already had quite a lot of talent, didn't he, before? This is my favourite comment in the video. The Dan Crowley sticker comes with a blank shirt so you can colour in his next team. Love that. Love that comment. That's the comment. That might become one of the comments of the season. Aside from the return of Hinchy from a loan being recalled, you've also got Jody returning, which is fantastic. Put that ball in for Kellen Gordon, which on another day, Kellen Gordon scores. The ball's whipped in at pace. He's running to it. You can't really ask Kellen Gordon to place the ball. You know, I think it's just a good save and it's a fantastic cross. Having Jody back is excellent. Would I start him? No, not right now. I think Cerula and Bennett's have done fairly well. Would I start him right now if he was fully fit? No, not right now. I would keep him as an option off the bench and he will make his way back into that squad. Absolutely no doubt. I just hope, and this is a weird one, I hope the fact that Hall is suspended kind of doesn't mean they stick Jody behind the striker and then he gets stuck there, because that didn't work. And it didn't work at all. Whether they can do something. Ewan says you can't drop Bennett. You can't. Ian says, wonder if AJ is fit. For Saturday, he finished with a mask on, didn't he? Yes, he did. Some people have mentioned like a fractured cheek or a fractured jaw. I didn't see what actually happened in that incident. So it's going to be interesting how he managed this squad for Christmas, though, with those injuries. Palmer seems like he's coming back very soon, which is good. But I do think we're going to have to play that same midfield two again. And that brings me onto the team. So essentially, I've gone exactly the same. I wouldn't change it. Let me know in the comments if you'd change it. If you're watching back, not live, let me know if you would change it. Yes, it leaves Grant a bit isolated, but I don't see what else you do. I really don't see what else you can do. I've just talked about Jody being in behind one striker. I don't think you can drop Dennis. The guy scored 2 in 2 games, one a match winner and one a stunner. And I don't think you drop Jatta, because I wouldn't have Dennis up top on his own against Grimsby. So I'm going to go with, it's a relatively easy one today. I'm going to go with the same team. Ian says Ness for Macquarie. I did think that, but I think Macquarie just ticks along really nicely. I wouldn't alter that back three too much. I think a lot of the teams you see that do well keep a stable back three, or a back two, or back four, back two in terms of 2 centre backs, or a back four with full backs. Disrupted MK Dons because of, you know, the incident that happened in the FA Cup where they had a centre back suspended, and look what happened. I think they'll be fairly poor defensively anyway. I think it's 1 clean sheet in 9, but I would go with that. I know it doesn't leave us a lot off the bench, but you have Jody, you have Kuyar. Hopefully Jarvis would be back. But if he were not to go with 2 up top, at least you got one of them off the bench. So Ewan says invest in a 10 in January. I would assess Jaden Luca. And I would basically, if he's not going to be fit, I hate to say this because I think he's been great. if he's not going to be fit until like the end of March, you maybe cut his loan short and just get someone else in. Or a lot of people saying they'll be happy to see Kuyos start. Yeah, if Costa and Al Joffrey gone, then you can hold on to Luca if he's going to be back and bring someone else in there. I'll go loan personally. I'll go for a loan option there. But we've still got this game and Walsall missing for Tyrese Hall. So we're going to have to do something. At least two of those are at home when I think that, I think the better option is two up front at home. But if we do go that away, fair enough, we go that away. The poll question, before I ask you to get your score predictions in. The poll question was an interesting one. Jack says, even Tom Grimsby fan here, big fan of the content. Really, really appreciate that. A Chesterfield, we've got a regular Chesterfield watcher, sent me his, like, I think it was a Spotify rap that we're the most listened to podcast, ahead of Chesterfield podcast. Adam says, team looks spot on, bearing in mind missing players. Apologies late to show. Adam, I did ask Helen, I guess, your question about favourite away ground. So, and Pythagorum's got it. Andy Kellett for the anagram of Tank Telly. Andy Kellett. I didn't see anyone else put it before, but yes, it is. That is it. Right then, let's have a look. Video's currently on 28 likes. Could we get that to 50 before the show finishes? If you're watching, please just drop a like. We'll see if we can get that to 50. Right. Do Yorkshire puddings go on a Christmas dinner? We have 118 votes. 64% still say yes. 36 say no. Helen, who lives in Yorkshire, said no. My answer is no. I do not put a Yorkie pud on a Christmas dinner. My wife would, but I would not. And I have won that battle every year at Christmas. We don't have a Yorkshire pud on our Christmas dinner. For me, that's for a Sunday dinner. We're not having it on a Christmas dinner. I disagree massively with that. I know I'm going to get absolutely slated here. I am going to get slated. Likes up to 39. That's gone up 11. So if can we get up to 50? I'd massively appreciate that. But yeah, I'm so sorry. But I can't back that. And I'm not going to back that. And I'm not going to change my opinion for this show. I'm not going to do it. Right, score predictions then. Let's see what we have. We have this is fairly likely. Steve says Grimsby 3, Notts 3. That could happen. We've had a 5-5. That could definitely happen in these games. We've got 6-0 All Grant. Maybe free roam in that position, which could work. It could get 6. We've got Grimsby 1, Notts 5. We've got 6-6 Dennis All 6. We've got a 6-6 again here. We've got a 1-0 Notts Dennis. That's from Stephen. We've got a 2-1 Notts. Eeyore Pender brace. Patson said he's going to start scoring. He told him he'll start scoring despite that miss. We've got another 5-5 from Jack. We've got a 4-2 Notts. We've got a 1-0 Connor Grant. You and loves Connor Grant. We've got a 2-0 Notts. We've got a 1-1 Dennis. Will take a point. If we get a point here after what we've done against MK, good point. And then you come back and face Walsall at home, who we owe last year after not being 5-0 up at half time. We went to lose the game to Lone FC. Who did they have? What was his name up front last season? Anyway, they went back to Stoke and he's not done much since at Stockport now, or he was at Stockport. We've got 2-2. We've got 1-1 Jones penalty. Cole says, removing my like purely based on the Yorkshire pudding answer. Tom, please don't be like that. Please, Cole, please. Adam says, seeing Grimsby fans don't fancy it. 2-0 Notts, Jatta and Dennis. 2-1 Notts. 3-1 Notts, Jatta times 2 and Platt. Oh, Nathan Lowe it was. And I'm going to end there with Cole's 4-1 Notts. If we win this game, what a position that puts us in going into the final 3 games of this month. Walsall, Chesterfield, MK. It gives us breathing room. Not that I want to lose any game, but it gives us room if we did lose that it wouldn't be the end of the world. To go into these 5 games and not expect to lose is very, very demanding. But it'd be brilliant. A draw would be brilliant as well. I'm going to go for 2-1 Notts. 2-1 Notts. I'm going to go 2-1 Notts. Richard says, could Rupert join you? Rupert's my cat, if you don't know, for the future, if I'm on my own. No, he's currently locked in the living room because he was trying to bite my ankles when the show was on. And doing the show solo with a cat biting my ankles, who has a very strong bite, would be disastrous, in my opinion. Gaza says, well done flying solo, Tom. Appreciate that, Gaza. Thank you all. As it's the first solo show in 183 episodes, massively appreciate everyone getting involved in the chat. I did ask you to do it at the start. Joseph says, cheers, Tom. Good show. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hopefully we'll have George back next week, and hopefully we get the victory. If you are traveling to Grimsby, whether it's by train, whether it's in the car, safe travels. Please bring back at least a point, but 3 points would be massively appreciated. Subscribe to that channel. Let's get us to 50 likes on video. And yeah, keep an eye out for our post-match videos after Grimsby, and also our predictions video, which is out tomorrow.